Thank you, Dom. You give me much too much credit, Dom, really. A lot of what we do at the Italian American Alliance is really amazing. For 7 years, I think what we've accomplished is beyond what most people would have expected. And I think Frank Mazzaglia would have been absolutely amazed what we've done in the past several years. And what I did for you tonight is just kind of show you how we fulfill that mission statement. We do many things. We protect and preserve our Italian culture, our heritage. That's important to us. I had a conversation with somebody earlier that what's happening with our younger generation is that they're not realizing how important our Italian culture is to us. And it's for simple reasons. Over the generations, it gets diluted. They know they're Italian, but not the way we feel about it. And it's our job to really get them to understand that. And that's why we do exist. That's why we do a lot of different programs. And what I wanted to start with is just show you the things that we do at the Italian American Alliance, that we invest our time as volunteers, is that we do things that promote our culture and heritage all the time. We invest in this strongly. And one of the examples is what we did right here. We have one of the greatest talent scouts and agent in our organization, Ross Zagami. And I can thank Ross for making this happen, because we have a project called the Amici Project, which was put together by the Italian American Alliance from the founders to do things that kept promoting our culture. And so Ross brought to us Alberto Profeta, and he was right here in this room. We filled it up. It was a grand night where we had a great celebration, and we called it Presenting Uniti in Forza, Stronger Together. And it was a dinner and concert, and we had a special guest at that time, Federica Sereni, the consulate of Boston. And we had a wonderful night. And there's some of our people that put that together. Look how handsome and beautiful they are. They're such hard workers, and they did a great job. Putting on something like this is not easy. We had 250 people in this room, and what an absolute voice he had. Tremendous singer. And at the same time, we not only had him here once, we had him twice. Right, Ross? And he was so well received. And on top of that, we had another great performer, Lydia. She was our Italian Lady Gaga. How many people came to that concert too? She was marvelous, just outstanding. And we continued with things like this. We can thank Carol Rossi and Angela Rossi for helping to organize the La Festa Italiana at Waltham Common 2 years in a row. Again, we invest in this. We're not making money. We're just happy to break even, but we want to bring our culture to the communities so people who even aren't Italian can experience what we do there. We had music, entertainment, things for the family. It was a fantastic day. Of course, food that everybody can enjoy. That shows you what we do with our time and energy. And on top of that, we also promote our culture on a regular basis. We have a website that CJ Ganji, where are you, CJ? Stand up. There's that young man back there. He's helped put that together, so you can always find out what's happening with the Italian American Alliance by going to our website. And we have a newsletter, Indomito. We never give up. That's who we are. And that goes out to over 8,000 of our members who receive an email. And they get to hear about things about our community that makes us proud to be Italians. And again, Frank Mazzaglia started this, and he wrote some wonderful historical pieces on the Admiral Christopher Columbus and other things about our culture. And to keep that tradition going, Lena, where are you? Lena, stand up. She writes wonderful articles. Lena, there you are. Stand up, honey. She spends a lot of time, and we want you to open up that email when you get it. You're going to learn something about your Italian culture and why you're proud to be Italian. It's great pieces you share with us, Lena. Thank you for doing that. And that's sent out on a regular basis by our Constant Contact program. And on top of that, this is something that we're very proud of. We knew that after the pandemic and what happened in the summer of love, 2020, we lost the parades. Columbus Day was put on hold. Nobody could do anything. So when it came time of 2022, nothing was happening. No parades in the North End, nothing in East Boston. So who stepped forward? We did, the Italian American Alliance, and we had Christopher Columbus celebration in East Boston. We had 1,000 people that showed up to this event. And it's a wonderful place, and I'll tell you again, here we are very proudly at one of the tables. We had all our directors there and staff people. And look at the place. How many people have been to the Tall Ship in East Boston? Raise your hand if you've been there. It's gorgeous. It's the best view of Boston Harbor. Look at that. And look at how easy it is to entertain, sit down, and relax. This is an undiscovered place. And guess what? We're going to do it again in 2024. And we did it for 2 years in a row. Look at that stage, too. And we had an ongoing video of beautiful scenery of Italy. Well, we had 4 hours of entertainment on that stage. And already we're putting together events that people can enjoy for children and family. We had 1,000 people show up, food, drink. You can actually get alcoholic beverage there. That's usually unusual, but we have it there. It's available. And at the same time, Christopher Columbus showed up. And he looks pretty good for 500 years old. I'm telling you, not bad. But at the same time, we're going to do the same thing in October. And again, we have this gentleman, Frank Labella, who's very popular as a DJ. He's going to be there. Alan? Alan? Well, no, he's Frank, as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, Alan. Anyways, well, he's going to be part of the upcoming program. We're working on it right now. We're putting it together. And this is something else that we have. Many of our directors are part of this committee. The Italian Heritage Committee always organizes this to kick off Italian Heritage Month in October. And where's Richard Vita? He's the chairman of that committee. Richard, stand up. Where are you, buddy? Where is he? Well, the heck with them then. We'll have to get another chairman. Okay, time for a vote for a new chairman while Richard isn't here. But he does organize that, and several of our directors are on that committee, and they plan it and bring it into the State House, and they kick off Italian Heritage Month. And thank you to Governor Salucci and Sal DeMacy and Bob DeLeo. This came about in 1999. And we're very proud that we have a month that we can recognize our heritage and our culture. And there's Speaker Marinaro, and there's Bob DeLeo. He was a guest. He was a special presentation. And yes, Bob's a good guy. You bet he is. And he's probably happy he's retired now, too. And at the same time, there's the flag raising at City Hall. We participate in that, too. And why not? Bring up that Italian flag. Let people know that we're very proud of our heritage. And at the same time, guess what we did? How many people knew that we had Italian Heritage Month celebrated at the White House for the first time? A lot of you didn't know that, did you? Well, guess what? We did. And I want to let you know, the only person from Massachusetts that was invited to go to that reception, you're looking at him right here. We represented the Italian-American Alliance. And that's First Lady Jill Biden. She's the first Italian-American First Lady in the history of this country. And a lot of people didn't know she was Italian, but of course her ancestors, her grandfather, they changed their name to Jacob and instead of Jacopa. So as you know how that story goes, with a lot of Italian families to exist and succeed in this country, they had to hide their ancestry. But there we were, and she made a wonderful speech. It was a wonderful invitation. There were several other Italian organizations that were invited to be there by the organization of Copa Mayo, Conference of Presidents, which we're a member, and that's why I was invited to be one of the people to attend. They had only a limited amount of people that could be there. But that's us. The Italian-American Alliance was there representing you folks, and I was very proud to be there. And to be in the White House for the first time and to walk in those halls and see the presidents of the past with their portraits, it was quite amazing. That's the East Room that she made the speech. And at the same time, this is also something we're very proud of. When we talk about our culture and our heritage, you have to think of the Italian language. Now, most of us grew up with the dialect. That's what I heard in my family. Never heard real Italian spoken. But as time goes on, we lost it. Children now don't hear Italian anymore. I heard it. You heard it maybe. But it's disappeared. It's not in our schools. But I want to say thank you to our chairman, Dr. Don Amara, who was an educator himself, principal at Charleston Schools. He was determined to put a curriculum and a program together to bring Italian to the public schools. And working with Dr. Sergi sitting over there, they did it. They now have a course, a 4-year course in Canton High School, supported by our state legislators from that district, by the Italian government, thank you to Arnaldo Minuti, And thank you to those gentlemen that worked hard to put this curriculum, find a high school who wanted to do this, hire the teachers, and they get a 4-year commitment to have that Italian taught to these high school students in Canton. That's fantastic. Dom, give him a nice round of applause. You can't tell you how hard and difficult that was. And we hope this is the template to keep moving this and making it happen throughout Massachusetts, because yes, there's Spanish there, there's French, there's even Latin. How many people still speak Latin? Anybody? Brian, you're the only one. Thank you. But our immigration story is a fantastic story. And what I have before you is something that's also going on, and it's going to be placed in the North End of Boston. This is something I've been personally involved with at the North End Historical Society. We are sponsoring this along with the Friends of the North End, which is a fraternal organization of 300 men who grew up in the North End that still see each other. There's 300 for 50 years they've been having reunions. There's not a neighborhood in the country that does anything like that. But we are donating this particular sculpture to St. Leonard. And what it represents is our immigration story. When you think of our ancestors, how did they come here? By boat. And the first steps they took were down the gangplank from the old country into a new world. And that's why we call it the Noble Journey, because it took courage and conviction to make that journey to an unknown place. And when you look at the sculpture, see if you can picture this. This is a 5x8 bronze sculpture. And this is designed by the renowned sculptor Nancy Schoen, who was responsible for Make Way for Ducklings in Boston Public Garden. How many people have seen those bronze statues? She's known throughout the world. She came up with this concept to say something that's dynamic, that we can experience. So when you go to St. Leonard's, and this is going to be installed, you're going to walk in the steps of your ancestors, in their footprints. Your grandmother, your nana, your nono, maybe your mother, maybe your father, or maybe my mother. She came here in 1925 at 7 years old. And those are her footsteps. And so we're ready to install this on September 29th, and I wanted to share this with you because it's part of our story. And what I want to say that, again, the Italian American Alliance, they stepped forward, and as we're raising money for this, they gave $1,000 towards this project. And thank you very much to all our board members. Really appreciate that. And you can all participate. We're still asking for donations, and don't hesitate to step forward and be part of this, because we're going to put a composite of all the donors for people that you made the donation in memory, like my mother. But talking about raising money, that Amici project, we have to put it on, right? We bring people here. And Ross is already working on some new talent, aren't you, Ross, right? October. That's okay. So we have our great fundraisers. There's Ginny and Flo, and there's Marissa. They work so hard. We had Elvis Presley here, and we filled up the room, and we made some money. And we did it a couple times with the comedy night. And what we do with that money is we help to support the Amici Fund so we can do those wonderful things like bring in Alberto Perfetta. This is what we do. In 7 years, this is what this new organization has been doing. You think that we've been doing this for 40 or 30 years. So again, that's what we're very proud of. But the next step is what we've been very active with, is being actively involved in the community. And you've heard some wonderful comments already about what is going on with Christopher Columbus and things of that sort. And when you think about it, you know what happened to Christopher Columbus in Boston. In the 2020, he was decapitated. They removed the statue from Christopher Columbus Park, and then we got together and we did our best to organize the community to fight to have him brought back. But it was like a frenzy. It was like a virus went through this country. This cancel culture, diversity, equity, inclusion, sounds good, but it went off the rails. And we became a victim of it. And we found out that we had to stand up for ourselves. And as Dom said, we've been too asleep for 20 years, not realizing that this was in motion. And now we have to work and reverse it. And one thing that happened about this statue is that, maybe you don't know this, but Mayor Walsh did make a deal before he left, and it was finally brought back to the Knights of Columbus in the North End. And he now stands on a new pedestal where their community is. It's on North Margin Street. It's not where we want it, but he does exist still, and he's there, and he's been repaired. He's not sitting in a warehouse. But back in 2021, again, the IAA stepped forward and said, let's have a rally to make people aware of this. And we're the only ones who did that year, and we had a rally at Christopher Columbus Park in front of the empty pedestal on Columbus Day. And this is what we've been doing as an organization and feel very passionate about. And Jeff, you spoke about it beautifully. Dom, you did too. Many of you feel the same way. We understand the connection it has to our heritage. And this is why we work very hard to get to know the historians that have debunked the lies that have been said about Columbus. We've had Mary Graver. Kevin, didn't you have Mary Graver as a speaker at Dante on your breakfast? And she wrote a wonderful book, Debunking Howard Zinn. And Howard Zinn, only in that book that he wrote in 1980, 8 lousy pages, the first chapter of that book, to basically tear down Western civilization, which was his purpose. And it was all about what a bad person Columbus was. Genocidal maniac, enslaver, racist. Those are the things that he wanted to portray so he could build his case about Western civilization, the oppressor. And unfortunately, it got into our classrooms. And they used it as part of their curriculum. And we didn't know this. For 20, 30 years, this is what our younger generation was being taught. And I had one awful experience. My granddaughter and grandson were sitting in my backyard with us, and I asked them, tell me about Christopher Columbus. What do you know about him? And my 8-year-old grandson said, oh, I know. He's a bad man. And that's what was happening. Our own children, right under our own noses. And this is what they're teaching because they listened to Howard Zinn, and they have one for a primer for 8th grade. They actually make a teaching tool from him. So we work very hard to talk to Rafael Ortiz, who's actually a Taino descendant from Puerto Rico, that supposedly are the natives that Columbus first met when he came here on his first journey. He now has read everything in his normal Spanish language that Columbus has written, and what was written by others that are his contemporaries, and he put this book together called Hero. And he's convinced that everything that's been said negatively by Columbus can be disproved because it's not true. And Carol Delaney, she came to our rally. Columbus and the Quest for Jerusalem. Mary Graver, who spoke at your particular event, Debunking Howard Zinn. And other blogs that educate people about Columbus. We've now attached ourselves to those people. And in fact, we have those books. I've read every one of them. It's a great learning lesson, but not enough people understand the truth. And that's why I wrote that article, Don't Scapegoat Columbus. And as far as what happened, I put that in the Post-Gazette. Thank you, Pam. It was in other publications, even some national magazines. And it really said he's just not right scapegoating him for fighting against social injustices of today. And he's been maligned. He was the easy fruit to pick to point to somebody that we're doing our job of trying to fight against social oppression. And on top of that, I also have the fact that, Jeff, you talked about this. Dom, you talked about this. We were at the State House. 3 years we lobbied at the State House because that bill is always in committee, ready to come out, because someone's always sponsoring to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. And we've worked very hard to organize and keep people in the Italian-American community aware of this bill so that they can send emails to their legislators. Just like Jeff said, they have to hear from us. So we put letters together. We emailed on a regular basis everything that was happening about this and how to write to your congressperson, your representative rather, in Massachusetts. And we sent these to 35 different organizations. Kevin, you got one from us on a regular basis so that you can give it to your members and send these emails. And you know what? The bill never got passed. And I say, we did one hell of a job to stop it. And I want to take a lot of credit for what we did in this room. And one way we did is that we showed up the public hearings. In fact, Jim, Dom, Brian, myself, we actually went to the State House and sat down with representatives in their offices to tell them what we thought. I had Zoom calls with some of them. And they'd probably say, who are these people? But they thought they got to hear us. And again, Dom, I want to say this twice. Jeff Turco was the only representative that spoke up on our behalf and went to that public hearing. And you know why it's a big deal? Because we've had other people speak up to us personally, but will not say anything publicly. And that takes guts. And thank you for your integrity, Jeff. Really appreciate it. And right now, it's still in committee, and I don't think it's going to get out of that committee. And if they even do send it out, I know it's not even going to get to have a vote. Right, Jeff? Correct. You got it. So we are very proud to do that. But as Dom said, we've been fighting battles on a regular basis with communities. For the last 3 years, they called and connected to us, and we were able to help these towns stop them from eliminating Columbus Day. Do you know there's 351 communities in Massachusetts, and only 25 towns have gotten rid of Columbus Day. But if you listen to the opponents out there, they make it sound like, oh, everybody's gotten rid of it. It's not true. And these towns stopped their Board of Selectmen from changing Columbus Day. Because if we didn't step in, they would have done just what Jimmy said. One vote, one person, no conversation. Let's get rid of it. We're good guys. That's what we're supposed to do. And all of a sudden it's gone. But we educated them, the concerned citizens of those towns, and they had actually town votes and elections on it, and they defeated those bills thanks to our effort. Okay? And that's what we're very proud of the Italian American Alliance. Those are wins. But it takes a lot of work. And I just hope that as time goes on, this starts to quiet down. And we can start, this goes away because people have very short memories. In that case, it's good. So again, saving Columbus is important. And why I have this up here, not only did we do it in the state, because we have to stop it from changing in the state, we lost it in Boston because of a mayor that was temporary. And on the last day, she did a sneak attack and got rid of Columbus Day in Boston. Nobody saw it coming, and we'll still keep working on doing something about that. The best thing we got was a proclamation for Italian Heritage Day for Mayor Wu, but that's not good enough. And I want to say that we're still fighting on a national level. This is an organization that we are members of, the Copa Mayo, Conference of Presidents of Major Italian American Organization. This is Basil Russo. Gotten to know him very well, and we joined this as a member 4 years ago, and we've become very involved with them. And what's great about this is there's 67 different national organizations, like the Sons of Italy, etc. And we are working together, and when you bring more people together on a national level with the same goals, we are going to be more effective. That's why we ended up at the White House, by the way. This man made that happen, Basil Russo. If he didn't have a contact there and talk to them and suggest it, that never would have happened. So this is what we do. He's becoming very well known. And he wanted to let you know that he would love to have been here tonight, but we have an annual meeting in New York 2 days from now that he's going to be presiding over at the new Italian American Museum in Little Italy, New York. They're opening for the first time, folks. We're going to have an Italian American Museum, a whole building. And we're going to have our meeting there, and I'm happy to say that I'll be happy to represent the Italian American Alliance. I'll be there in attendance on Saturday, and again, we'll have the chance to see something wonderful. Someday we'll have something like that here in Boston too, because that's one of my goals. But Basil wanted me to share this with you. He wanted me to read this to let you know as a welcome. The Italian American Alliance is just 7 years old and has grown and continuously added to its achievements, all thanks to its dedicated members. America has embraced Italians and Italian Americans, and in return they have embraced America as loyal and contributing American citizens. Our mission, wait a minute, I think I read the wrong one. Excuse me, wrong letter. Let's do that over, okay, one more time. Dear officers and members of the Italian American Alliance, it is my intention to personally attend your meeting to congratulate you for the exceptional growth and accomplishments the IAA has achieved, and to thank you for the support and leadership your organization has provided to the Conference of Presidents. However, my responsibilities related to organizing the Copa Miles National Annual Meeting in New York City this Saturday have prevented me from being with you today. In closing, I thank you for the important contributions the IAA has made to the Italian-American community, and I look forward to the future successes that we will achieve by continuing to work together. Best wishes, Basil Russo. And like Margot says, we're working together, Margot. This is what we're trying to do. Right on. And that's from Basil Russo. And something else that he also is responsible for, here he is again, and this is a trip he put together to Rome, and we actually got to meet the Pope, Francis, 2 years ago. And Rita and I had the pleasure of attending that. And again, what I love about this is that we have a cross-culture of different Italian organizations that we learn from each other. That was, again, something why we wanted to be part of the Copa Mile. At the same time, this is a milestone that I wanted to share with you. You heard some people refer to this already tonight. And what has been going on here for 4 years, 4 years ago, I found out about an organization that was made up of Native Americans, Native Indian Americans, which they like to refer to themselves to as Indians. And I was reading about them, and they said somewhere in the material that they supported Columbus. And I said, I've got to talk to these people. So what do? I pick up the phone and I call the president. And I had a wonderful conversation. I'll never forget that. And I found out he thinks just like we do. He's experienced the same thing that we're going through. People are canceling their culture, telling them how they're supposed to support and preserve their heritage. And he's fed up with it. Everything that Dom said, he could have written that same speech that Dom said about what's happening in America. And so Tony Henson and I got together, and then I met his chairman, Eunice Davidson, and we started to work together, and he started to write some letters supporting us, and we actually used them in some of those committee fights in those towns to have a Native American organization supporting us. Because the thing that we resented most when we went to that public hearing, and our Native Americans that were sitting there trying to eliminate our holiday, they brought somebody with them, an Italian who's against Columbus. And I hate that. And they make it sound like there's a lot of people out there. They're about this big. But they bring that one person with them. Well, we have the NAGA organization. Now there's with us, and we have an alliance, an official alliance with them, and they are made up of sovereign nations. There's 500 nations of Native Americans in America that are recognized by federal government, and they're all over the country, and they're part of this organization. And what we're doing is now we have the first time the 7-Generation Alliance, and the Italian-American Alliance is one of the charter members of this, and we're going to have 1 million people part of this alliance, okay? And you know what? Any organization, Italian organization, can join this. It's only $100 to be part of it. And what we already have is solidarity calls on Zoom calls, and I've gotten Italian organizations that I know from throughout the country, and they've already been working and collaborating with them. And the letter on the right side says, United Together. This is a letter that I worked with them on personally to talk about how they support Christopher Columbus and why. And this is a letter that I have with me, and I'll be happy to circulate it amongst all of you so you can have a copy too. That the Native Americans Guardian Association supporting our holiday and the importance of it. How do you like that, folks? This is a big milestone. I'm telling you, it's never happened before to have them, because like Jeff said, they pitted us against the Native Americans of our country. It's wrong. We can all have our holidays, we can all have our heritage, and we all support what we do. And just to prove that, we have always had a wonderful working alliance with this group, the Asian American Alliance in Chinatown. Several years ago, we got together with them, and they're wonderful, and we wanted to support them and be part of their culture and share it with each other. And we actually had them come to our first Christopher Columbus holiday event in East Boston. And their chairman, Dr. Wu, loves Italian opera, and he sang for us. It was wonderful. And we went to their festivals, and guess what? 2 weeks ago, I invited them to the Solidarity Call with the 7-Generations Alliance, and they were on the call with us. And I can't tell you how excited everybody else was on the call. They said, see, we can go to expand this alliance, this group. And the next one we want, Margot, is the Anti-Defamation League of Jewish people to be part of this alliance because we want them to support them. Okay, we don't want them. We want you with it, Margot, okay? You can be part of it. And this is what we're looking forward to, is having to speak up for people working together to stop this cancel culture. And Dawn Amara wrote a wonderful letter that I think many of you read about how Italians in our alliance are against anti-Semitism, and we stood up and made a public statement. And thank you, Dawn, for writing a wonderful letter and presenting at the Pirandello event. It was wonderful. Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate that very much. And lastly, leadership. As we've seen, we've taken an active role with all these different Italian organizations. These are all our friends. These are people that we know, people that we work with. We attend each other's functions. And this is important that we keep this alliance and this collaboration together, because together we are stronger, as we've said. And one of the last ones on this list, the National Italian American Foundation, NIAF, we just became an affiliate. We're the only Massachusetts affiliate belonging to this foundation, this national organization. It's very popular and it's very successful. It's been around for 30, 40 years. It has a gala event in Washington, D.C. every year. And because of this, we have now here tonight two recipients of a very special award because we're an affiliate. People in our organization, children who are in college of Italian descent, can qualify for the Voyage of Discovery. It's a 2-week, all-expense-paid trip to Italy with other young college people. And we had our first recipient, Michael DiStefano. Michael, stand up. And he brought his friend Elisa. She's here too from Las Vegas. Guess what? She's also was on this trip. Was it a wonderful trip?
It was amazing.
Amazing, right? He's never been to Italy before, and now imagine a 2-week, all-expense-paid trip. Amazing. What a great opportunity. And do you have something for them? Yeah, present it to them. We have IAA hats. Congratulations. And this is another special benefit we have being in the Italian American Alliance, that we want to share this program with people because it's exceptional. And we hope to see more people from our Italian American Alliance. We hope to send somebody there every year on this trip. Another wonderful thing by working together with the other Italian organizations. And here's Robert Allegrini. He's the president, and he's very excited about having our Italian American Alliance as an affiliate. And he also supported us on those Christopher Columbus events that we had in East Boston. They actually made donations to it, so this is how we work together. We try to, because we all have the same goals in mind to support our culture. And again, one thing that was really wonderful, here's Angelo Ferenzi. Remember this, Angelo, in the Dante? We made a wonderful farewell party for Federica when she left as a consulate. And what we have in this picture is 11 different organizations from Massachusetts that work together with each other to put this event together. And it's a wonderful example of how working together we can share in these wonderful events. And I'm very proud of that experience. And here we are with our new consulate, Arnaldo Minuti, who's working very close with us. We work very hard to build a relationship. This is the Comites. This is part of their organization. This is how we spend our time. They all know who we are, and they work with us very closely. And that's another reason why that curriculum in Canton took place, because they jumped on board when they saw what Dom and Dr. Sergi was doing. And this is why we build these bridges and relationships. And one other thing, we also were invited, Dom and I were to visit the Italian ambassador of Italy to the United States in Washington, D.C. And again, because we're members of the Corpo Maio, we had the opportunity to attend that. We have made ourselves very visible to Italy about the Italian-American organizations, and they support us. Do you know they actually had a resolution at the Italian Parliament to support Christopher Columbus and the Italian-American communities? They actually passed that. They need to speak up for us just as well, and it's because of things like this. And there's even an organization in Rome that's run by Umberto Mucci called We the Italians, and his purpose has been around for 10 years, and you know what he supports? Not Italians, but he supports Italian Americans. And we're the only representative in Massachusetts as part of this association. So I just wanted to share with you all the different networking that we've done to make ourselves more effective and to know what's going on so we can make things happen the way we want them to. And just Think of all the religious societies in North End. They're all our friends. And because they're our friends, we were very successful in working with St. Joseph's Society. We actually helped to support, to get Father Copadano on a stamp. He's a he's a Medal of Honor hero from the Vietnam War. He lost his life there, and he was somebody that we think that we would love to have him recognized on a stamp. It's now in committee. It takes years to happen, but we were very aggressive in getting a petition like this and supporting it. And these are the things that we do. Also to support our community. This was a wonderful concept. Each year, the Italian-American Alliance identifies Italian-Americans who have distinguished themselves in their profession, their service to the community, and their effort to maintain and share their Italian heritage. There's so many people like you that are out there doing wonderful things that nobody even talks about or knows. And we thought it was, let's take a moment to stop and recognize those individuals and what services they provide. So we had 100 people listed several years ago, just to let people know that we appreciate their professionalism and their unselfish efforts to do something wonderful for the community. And we have another 100 that we're putting together as we speak. So again, we are spreading the word with national chapters. And in conclusion, all we are, we're part of two flags, one heart. We're very proud of our heritage. We're all about family and faith. And it's been a pleasure to share this with you tonight. And I hope you feel as proud as I do about being an Italian American and part of the American Alliance. Thank you.